Command A, and it's going to select all of the slides that are a part of this one file. Then I'm going to press Command C to copy. This new one will be called Pro 6 Training.
Can you call it 913 slides? So we can just keep it for tomorrow.
I'm still going to call it Pro 6 Training because
Okay.
I'm going to do certain things on the slides. I don't want to mess up your flow at all. Today's 9/12. I'm going to just select this slide and I'm going to now press Command B. And all of my slides will import in just a moment. ProPresenter is being a little slow. And so if ever you see this little moving icon, the pinwheel, you know, sometimes it can be a good thing and other times it can't be. So it's always recommended that before you actually start your presentation, just go ahead and close out ProPresenter altogether. So that way you won't have any lag time during the actual experience that can cause more serious delays. So if you see, all of the graphics are coming in now. And that just happened when we pressed the new button. And so let's just say this first slide, which is a blank slide, we could edit this slide two different ways. We could either right click the slide and press where it says edit slide, or we can press right here where it says editor right next to new. So this is just a sample slide, and this is a song template. When we created this new file, I'm going to show you all this one more time. If you come a little closer, you might be able to see right here it says new file name, untitled, file options, it says template, and it says category as song, and then it also gives you the resolution. But you have the ability to change the category from song to speaker notes, PowerPoint, Bible presentation, or new category. And you also have a chance to change the template. And so the template are all these different already pre-built templates that look really good. Some of them are more colorful than others. And then you will also have your customized dreams in the lower thirds, scriptures, and countdown. And also, it looks like the presentation lower third, so just like a nameplate for someone. So all of those are also already there, and you have the ability to change that just by pressing this drop down button right here that's next to the template, and you can select whichever one you choose. I'm going to press cancel for the sake of time. And so we're still selected right here in the first slide. The next image is the next button right here, it says video image. So the video image is going to allow you to open and close what we call a bin. A bin is an area where any graphics are actually being stored. And so you'll see this box at the bottom of the screen to disappear when I press it. When I press the video and image button, then it will reappear when I press it again. And so that just gives me an option to drag a motion slide onto the slide that we already have.
Onto the actual thing.
And so if you all, I'm going to spot down for a second. Right here where it says video and image in the bin, and the background bin itself, there are only 4 images or 4 different options that you have. But when you press graphics right here, you have probably, I don't know, maybe 200 or more different backgrounds that are already preloaded, or someone loaded them in, and that way you can just select those. And so we can change the background here from the blue to the leaves. And so just like that, if there, a song is about to come on and you want a graphic to be up, you might even want to change it to this one if you know it's more high energy. Or the color scheme has changed. I thought it would have been a little bit faster paced, but so, and then you can also store your videos here. So prime example, the September to Remember video, the moment you press it, it will begin to play. And you could also store it in this video bin in case you were to lose it, or you could just move it all the way up to the top. Or you could create a file, what they call a hot folder, right here. So I'm gonna walk through that one more time. Right here where it says video and image bin, there's a little plus arrow, and you would just select where it says new hot folder. And that way you could create just a spot for the actual September to Remember video to be right there in case anything were to happen to it. And then, so now that we've gone through the video bin, let's also talk about the attributes that videos have. So this September to Remember video, it stops at the end, but for whatever reason we wanted it to loop. We will right click the video, and we will go down to where it says media properties, And if we press not the info button, but the middle tab where it says properties, all the way down at the bottom, it says behavior right here. And right there where it says behavior, you have the option to either make it loop, stop, or soft loop. So a soft loop is kind of like a fade or adds a transition to the end into the beginning of the video to make it just more subtle. And then a loop is just a hard loop from start to finish. It'll just continue to repeat. And of course, a stop means that it will no longer play afterwards.
Does it allow you to change the speed of the video?
You can. So also right here, you can't make this window itself any bigger. If you want to come closer, it's fine by me. Okay, so right here where it says stretch to fill under the properties tab, you have these different options for the actual image or for the graphic to fit, for the image or for the video to fit. So scale to fill will change how it fits into the actual frame of the LEDs or for the output source. Scale to fill will make sure that it fills the entire aspect. That even means that sometimes certain things will be left off. So like when you're building out your graphics, it might cut off the actual logo of the Dream Center on that middle screen right there. And then stretch to fill means that it's going to fill it out as much as it can.
Okay.
And so sometimes that may mean adding in borders around it.
Gotcha.
And then flip horizontally and flip vertically, it does exactly that. The volume, you have the ability to either mute a volume if it has any audio, and you can also increase it up to 200%, but usually they're all zeroed out. And of course the play rate, which you just asked about, you could speed up this video up to 200 times fast. You could also slow it down to 1%. So it will be extremely slow.
Right.
And it's also going to give you an option to preview it.
With this current slide, we needed to mute it. So now I know.
Yeah,
how
so
to
you would
do
just
that.
come in right here, volume, bring it all the way down.
Okay.
Yep. And if you needed to cut out any part of a video, this little video window is extremely helpful because you have the ability to do that as well. So let's just say you want it to start off right here where it says September to Remember on this little black slide, and you allow it to play. I'm sorry, I'm gonna go back to the beginning. You want it to start off here, so now you're gonna press in, and the in is right here beneath it. And then we want the out, we can even just speed it up with our hand or with the mouse. We want it to stop right here, September 15th. So now we'll put right here this little out button, we will select that. And so now the video has gone from being 34 seconds, it looks like, to being 25 seconds.
Good.
So that's just something that you could keep in mind, and then you can also just reset it in case you did it wrong.
Got it.
Yes. And then you can also set a thumbnail for it. So let's just say you have 1,000 different videos and all of them have a black screen, but you need a way to be able to differentiate them. You could set this to be the thumbnail that we're on, this current screen. And so just like that, we've changed the thumbnail from the black screen that says September to Remember to the Revive.
Got it.
Speed this back up and set that as your thumbnail as the original. And one more part of this. The effects that are all the way, the most right tab, once you click the media queue properties, you have the ability to invert the color. That means that you can change the color, or the color will invert itself, I'm sorry. The heat signature will allow you to simply do the heat signature of the image or of the video. You have a color filter, which if you give it a specific color, it will match it as best as it can. And so we can change it all to blue. And now the blend color would be blue. And I'm going to uncheck that box. And we also have the ability to do something called a gray invert and adjust color. A vignette, of course, is just adjusting the overall scope of it. You can control the radius. Then you have the sepia effect. You also can do edge blurs, halftone, and it allows you to adjust the sharpness, the gray components, the color removal, and you have the ability to control all of them. You also have the reset function that is here. And the last one is a blur, and you can control how much of a blur you would like for it to have. So all of these are very useful, especially if somebody might want a different effect, but let's say you're not versed in Photoshop or in After Effects. You could also do some of those things in ProPresenter itself. So it's a very good tool to have, and it's also very important to understand how to use these things. So now that we're back just into our file overall, right here we're still talking about the video and the images, but I think we've gotten far enough in that part. So now I'm going to go over to the audio button. But when I press this video image button, it's going to collapse the video and image. When I press the video and image button, it's going to collapse the video and image bin. And so now we're going to go over into the audio button. And once you press this little audio button, this little purple icon, the audio bin will show up on the right side of the screen. Now, if I'm right, it doesn't look like you all have any songs in ProPresenter. But if you wanted to add songs into ProPresenter, you have the ability to. So just like you would drag an image or a video or a graphic into ProPresenter here, you would do the same thing to add a song.
Does
Or
it have to be in any format, like MP4?
MP4 or MP4A is good, and then also MP3.
Okay.
Yep, and if you needed to convert anything, you could just open a QuickTime player and export it as audio only.
Okay.
And you would just drag it into here. And then the next icon is PCO Live or Planning Center Online Live. So this is a time clock of the countdown to the actual service, or the service that should have started. So it's telling you that it's 38,000, almost 39,000 minutes behind. But so you could also, I'm not quite sure. Yep. So it allows you to look at the different planning centers that you have available for a certain period of time, and then from there, you're actually able to view everything. So you don't have to have a piece of paper right here, or you don't have to have a separate window of Planning Center open. When you could just click it right here, and that way it will be able to pull in everything else, including the timestamps, and then also the cues that are specific for ProPresenter or for the media graphics. It will recognize them. So it's very useful, and I enjoy it.
And what did you click for that?
Just the PCO
Live?
PCO Live. Yep.
Okay.
Planning Center Online Live. And so it'll just tell you everything right there. And this right here is a live video button that is right to the right of it, and it's disabled because it's not set up. It's not set up on this computer, but I think it is set up on. Nope, it's grayed out on that one as well. That would just mean that you have the ability, for whatever reason, if you wanted to see yourself on that screen, you have the ability to press that button, and that way you could see yourself up there through this FaceTime camera.
Oh,
that's
up here.
pre-installed. Yes.
Down there. Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, we don't want.
So we don't want to see you.
I might be wanting to say
Will it
me.
give audio as well?
It could give audio, but if the audio is routed already, in which I think it is, because you could play music off of here and it would go to the speakers. Sometimes the output might be also reading it, looking for a microphone, so you might have to plug in an external microphone to this, or you might have to disconnect the audio. So it depends.
So like you can do like a Zoom thing.
Yes, you could.
Okay.
Yep. And the next button actually says Song Select, which is semi-useful. I'm not quite sure how much if you all use it. Do you use it? No? Okay. So, overall, you would have to search for the songs, and sometimes they also want you to pay for it, and it doesn't look like it is a part of that subscription. Let's see. But you could copy and paste certain lyrics from here directly. It does not mean that it will have all of the songs or by all of the different singers, and of course we know that there are so many different variations. But like, let's just type in "You Are Awesome" and give you two different authors, Travis Gandy and Louis Tata. So I'm not quite sure if those are the exact same ones, but so you always run a risk. They may or may not have the specific song that you're looking for. So if you're using a different method to actually receive those songs, I'll probably say just stick with that. And of course, just remember to format everything correctly when you're importing things in.
But if you import it from that, would it format
It could.
properly? Oh.
So if I press import here, it's going to give you a line break, and it's going to say 2 millimeters per slide. Import. But see, just like that, you have to make sure that it's formatted correctly, because of course
That's
the text
cutting
is
off
being
the
cut
line.
off.
Yeah.
Right? So you might want to make the text smaller, or you could extend it. And sometimes when you're in this function, I don't think it'll. Yes, it will. You can extend it a little bit bigger, or you could change the position of it, and you could press apply to all, but it did not take for all of them.
Does it give you the option to decrease the space in between lines?
In Song Select, let's see, I think it does. Import here. That's 2 lines right there. Category would be song, size, line break, paragraph break. So not necessarily, but you do have the ability to change the line sizing or the spacing when you go back into the editor function.
Got it. Okay.
Do you know how to change the?
I think so.
You want to show me, or you want to walk me through, or just tell me what I should do?
So is it not in this right toolbar over here?
Yes, it is.
And then you would just decrease the line spacing.
Right here.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, so it's already at 0, but the text is also bolded, so we could, come on, let's just go back to regular Arial. And
Yep.
so what Candace is talking about is in this right toolbar, this function, it tells you the font style and then the font and then the font style. Then it also gives you an option to change the color. It usually defaults to white when it's on a black slide, or it'll default to black when it's on a white slide. The bold, italic, and underline function. The font size, the outline, is also defaults to white, and it also defaults to 0 as it does for the horizontal spacing is 0 and the vertical spacing is 0. So what Candace is talking about is the line spacing between holy and never. So if you wanted to increase that, we will come right here to the vertical spacing, and we will, let's just say, put it at 15. And so just like that, the spacing has increased between holy and never a good bit. It's very noticeable, and it also feels this this lower third a lot more.
Right.
And also, while we're in this little toolbox or in this text editor function, you also have the ability to change something to all caps, which is right here underneath the vertical spacing function. And you also have the ability to, we're going to select the text again. Yes, you have your alignment function, so you can align the text to the left, to the center, to the right. And I'm sorry, this is
Just
like a
the center.
staggered center, and then this right here is just correct. It's just going to adjust itself to where the box begins.
if it filled the whole line.
Correct, if it fills the whole line. Yes, thank you so much. Y'all, Carla Sarlo, she's going to be the next trainer, I guarantee.
Wow, we know.
Oh,
And
Carla.
also, if you have any questions, please feel free to say, hey, stop, go back. Can you talk about this one more time? I have no problem doing that at all. And right under here, where we just came from the alignment functions, you also have this little upper arrow, the center, or the up and down arrow together to create it to center, and then you also have the lower arrow. So when you're selecting all of this, the text box is only this big, then it's only built out to fit the lower third. But if we were to extend the text box to here, and we selected all of it, and we press the uppermost arrow, it was going to align it to the uppermost third of the screen, to the center arrow to the center, and then for the lower arrow, it was going to adjust it to the lowest part of the screen. I'm going to,
Do you think that when you're doing lyrics or speaker notes, it's better to do all caps or the appropriate text?
I think, do you all have a specific font that you stick to?
We usually use Arials,
Okay.
the
so-
bold, black, like just the wide spectrum of that.
So Arial is generally easy to read. Let's
Okay.
say if you were to use a different font, and they might not, let's just say the I's look like L's all the time. So
Got it.
for something like that, you'll probably want everything to be in a caps function.
Got it.
So it depends on exactly what look that it is that you're going for.
Okay.
But I always just say check before everything gets started, because you don't want somebody to come back and say, who did that? So just always say, hey, is this okay? Is this all right? Just make sure. Always ask once or twice. And we're going to come out of this editing function for just a moment. Let's see here. Go back. And right to the right of the song select function, we also have the Bible function. And so the Bible function, you can use it one of two ways. Sometimes it can be a little buggy when you're actually typing in exactly what it is that you're looking for. So I'll again always say refresh your ProPresenter, quit it, and then just reopen it every single time. Because like right here, it looks like somebody typed in Acts 7:35-39, and everything came in just as it should. And if I were to change 39 to 40, it's also including it. So that's wonderful. And then you also have another option here. When you press this little drop down arrow, it's going to give you all the books. And so let's just say you want, I don't know, 2 Timothy. And when you hover over 2 Timothy, you can press chapter 1, 2, 3, or 4, and then you have the ability to go to a specific verse. And when you go to a specific verse, it's only going to give you that verse itself. But let's just say you want to see the whole chapter. Just leave it just like that. So you would type in whatever book it is, and then you just put the chapter by it. And then from there, I would select one slide, press down on shift, and select, it usually does it. Or how about this? Another way to do it would be to, if you wanted to select multiple slides, you could put your cursor in this little gray area. It's a very small gray area, but you would want to act as if you're drawing a box, right? And you're just going to literally drag your cursor over everything you want, and you're not going to touch anything you don't want. So after you've selected all of your slides, you can press Command C for copy, or you can right click and press copy. And then we can go back into our training or into our file. And we're going to select the slide we want it to come after, and we're just going to press Command B, or we can right click to press paste. And just like that, you're using the Bible function. And this version, it only gives you 5 different versions. So let's just say you want the New Revised Standard Version. That's not in here, so you might want to just look online for that specific version, but it only offers the New American Standard Bible.
That's what we use.
Okay, perfect. Great. Switch it back to that one. And so just like that, it changed everything. And so it also have the specific translation right here in the parentheses of it. I'm not quite sure. Make it a little bit bigger so that way you can see it. That didn't help, but you can you see the translation of it right there. And that's how you use the Bible function of it. And you can also adjust the template of the Bible function. It should let you do it here.
So do you think that when you're running a production, it's easier to group everything that you're going to need for that production in one folder? Or like what we're doing right now, we have scriptures in one folder, and then we'll have graphics in another folder. What's your recommendation there?
Personally, I prefer everything to be in one folder.
One folder. Okay.
That's my personal preference. Now, I know some people who are like, oh, this is just praise and worship. We're only going to leave this here. We're going to keep the scripture there. We're going to keep the opening slides here. We're going to keep the announcements up here. And for some people, that works. For me, I know how I like for myself to be. So I'm also going to show you all how to build out a loop, and also to have a loop in a presentation. And I like being able just to see everything, so that way if I needed to go in and make any changes, I wouldn't have to go into this folder, go into that folder. But to each is their own, and I don't knock it. It's just like I would be perfectly fine with a setup like this.
Yes.
And that's just who I am. This is the store function. You don't really need anything from the online store unless you're trying to do something that's a little bit more than what ProPresenter already offers, but I would say consult whoever is the TD or the overall media person, because you don't want to incur any additional charges that you don't have to. And that's that little store icon with the green circle and a white heart in it. And then right here we have the social media, which allows you to import a live feed from Twitter. And to the right of that is a Fox function. And then all the way to the right over here, we have our templates. And so I was speaking to you all briefly earlier about the templates, but you have your defaults, you have your 16:9s, you have a clouds template, which is here. So I just changed one slide because it was selected. And just like that, now it has a clouds function. And now that it's still selected, I'm going to change the template again so that way you can see the other ones. The countdowns, like this one, online worship experience. It should show. There it is. Okay. And it's still selected. And so whatever graphic you have selected, the template will change that graphic. So just make sure that you're being very careful, especially when you're using this button. And you can also be mindful that you do have the ability to undo anything that you have done by pressing Command C, or you can just come up to the top under the file column. Under the edit column, and you could press right here where it says undo apply template. And just like that, it's going to change it back on the slide, but it will not change the output until you actually press the slide. And it's still, yep, there it is now. It's a little lag. I'm going to select this slide one more time. You have your Dream Center lower thirds, your Dream Center scripture, build out your more Dream Center 2020 lower thirds, more Dream Center lower thirds, the forest template, and you also have, so you can see it here on my ProPresenter. There we go. So that's your forest template, and you also have within certain templates you have more templates in them. So this is just a title slide that is up on the screen. You also have a full page of text that you can create, a full page of lyrics. You also have your different lower thirds, so we'll just maintain it down at the bottom. And I will press on here, clear the background. So that way you're only seeing the actual, this is just the lower third. I'm gonna press clear background again. And the other templates,
So
What's
that you
wrong?
import
So when-
the template as a lower third.
yes.
Yeah.
Yep, so there are specific templates, and if you look at them, like for the impressions, which I think is a very nice template, it's very simple in the color scheme. This right here is the lower third, it's only pink and white. And so just like that, there's your lower third. I'm gonna press clear backgrounds again. I don't want us to get rid of this actual background that's on here because I'm going to show you all another way. It is all a part of the training. And then you also have the mosaic, rectangles, scripture overall, and then text only style. So text only styles gives you also a preset of a font and also how much of the font you see, if it's just at the lower third or if it's a full page of font as well. So I think this is very cool. So you could probably use one of these when you're building out graphics for a song, when you're building out the lyrics or the graphics for a song. You could come in here and you could say, you know what, I don't want to do Arial today. I'm going to use Avenir lower third, just like that. And now, I'm going to take a seat right here for just a second. I don't want to block anybody's view, so just let me know if I'm in your way because I want you all to be able to see this. So this graphic that right here that we're in, it has an image behind it. Make it a little bit bigger. This image right here has, this graphic has an image behind it, and it also has a template. But we don't want this actual image to appear, and so we could do one of two things for it. We could right click it and we could say remove the Q image 9273. So when you're removing the Q, you're simply getting rid of the actual image that's there or the video that's there or the song that will be there. So that's what removing a Q means. So a Q is simply anything that's video, image, or audio. And you also have the ability to, I'm going to undo that and put it back. You're going to press something that says add Q, and you could add a clear action cue, and the clear action cue could be something like clear background. So when we press this, it's going to show this actual image, right? With the lower third. Oh, go back out. Right click, copy, paste here. I'm going to duplicate the slide to show you all the next method here. Clear cue. This is an image that's just up, right? And so we're going to add some text to it. It says escape. The image says escape, and then the text says not yet. We're still in session. And for whatever reason, we want to get rid of the image by itself, but we want to keep this exact same template down at the bottom. We could copy the slide, right? And when we copy the slide, we're going to paste it here. Give it just a second. And I'm going to actually come in and just press right here where it says remove cue again. And I'm going to add a different cue that will say clear background. So let's just say the video is rolling, the pastor walks into the stage, and for whatever reason we need it to stop. So we just had to stop the moment he came onto the stage. So I pressed this template that's right here. And so the moment I press this template, I added a cue onto it that says to remove all other cues. Otherwise, it would stay on like this. This is the video. Come on. I'm gonna delete this one. Because what will usually happen is something like this. a second. I need to add some text to the slide. You should see now on the bottom left hand corner it says this is text, right? And when we want to change the slide, the text is going to go away. So if for any reason the text stays on the slide, we want to press one thing. And that one thing, you could get to it two ways. You can either get to it from this button up here, or you can get to it by right clicking the slide, and you're going to press add cue. And you're going to say clear action cue, and you're just going to press, you can press clear all, so that way it'll get rid of everything. It'll wipe out whatever was playing with it, and we're just not going to have anything else to go along with it. Or you could just press right here where it says clear slide. And again, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. I am happy to answer it. I'm going to delete this here and remove this text here. And right here, the second to last button is the button that's just going to allow you to see what exact file you're working in. So it's going to either open up this file name or it's going to close it. Right there. I'm sorry, the text editor, I'm sorry. This little text, this information right here. And then the last one is going to allow you to control your output either being on or off. So let's just say you turn on the computer and you think that you're showing everything you should be showing, but it's not showing on the screen. So this little icon right here, very small but very important, it says output. When this output button is, or when that screen is green inside of the output button, that's how you know that everything that you're doing will be shown live. Yes. Yep, and then right here is also your volume control. I don't think your speakers are on, but if the speakers were to be on and you're playing this video and they can't hear anything for whatever reason, you would just want to come in here and make sure that this volume function in ProPresenter is all the way up, in addition to the volume function on the computer. And now, I'm going to pause this video. Does anybody know how to create a loop in ProPresenter?
She's testing now.
Yeah, I think.
Can you go, I'm sorry, before you move forward, can you show me the volume again?
Sure. So right here, hello Keith, I'm Ashley. This right here is the volume function.
Okay.
And so this volume function allows for you to control the volume function in ProPresenter itself. So we have a video playing, right? I'm gonna go back up and press play on this video. And they say we can't hear the video. Well, the reason why they can't hear the video is because we're only at about 10 or 20% when we should be at 100% in ProPresenter. And then just also make sure that the volume function is all the way up on the computer.